Hello, Andy here. If you want to know why I've got a big ass fan in my Creality Ender 5 Plus, then stick around. So my control box for my 5 Plus is almost finished, just a little bit of tweaking. So what have I done? Obviously I've put a bigger fan in for the cooling of the power supply unit. So I've left this one in place for the time being, just so it blocks the hole up. But that is going to turn super slow and not be so noisy. I've made myself a new cover to get rid of the old cover. Underneath here are some 3D printed plastic blocks which now use normal wood screws, and I've used wood screws in the side here instead of the small self-tapping ones. So what else have I done? You can see I've moved the mosfet for the bed. This used to be up here somewhere. So the reason I've relocated that, and also you'll notice the power switch is missing. I wanted to separate the power supplies wires, and obviously shorten these wires that go into the MOSFET. And with the power switch being at the front, I obviously had 240 volts in my case cables running down here, then connecting to the switch block. So now I've made a custom cover which we'll flip over in a minute. The power switch is okay, it's underneath, but that's fine. Once you know where it is, you can just flick it on and off. So I've also clipped the 240 volt cables up here at the moment. I'm probably gonna 3D print a holder or a little cable tray here in here, which will be screwed in through these vents just to get away with these cable ties. But it's lifted up the 240 wires up away from the cluster below, and anywhere that I have 240 and low voltage, they almost run parallel, except for this cluster down here. Now I may have to come back to this once I've got the box back in the printer and I see how much spare cable I have, and depending where I finally mount the box. So that's what I've done. So what else have I done? I've put a extra cooling fan in on top of the MOSFET. People say it shouldn't be necessary, but while I was making the lid, I thought, well, it's only another 0.1 amp draw on the fan connector here, and I've got a bigger fan on the top, so it should be spinning slower but moving more air, which is on top of the circuit board. Now I have got a new circuit board, the Big Tree Tech 1.4 turbo going in, but I want to use the print with stock firmware. So let's see what the top looks like. Also do one hand. So that's the new top, so it tells you everything what's what, and obviously a little bit of advertising for my website. So that's it. So I'm going to get that bolted down, get it back in the printer, and I've moved my, well, I've got a different extruder. If you haven't seen the video on this dual extruder, take a watch. I have modified it. I actually drilled a hole in it to get the Bowden tube further down, and I've custom 3D printed a spacer block for the run out sensor. I haven't tested this yet, but by my measurements, the filament path should be in line pretty much. It may need a little bit of tweaking, but that's going to be good enough for getting the printer running. There's a video about why I've done this and why I found that these drive bars were not level. Anyway, all my sort of videos are what I found along the way of getting this working. So yeah, let's get it all back together. Let's get this box in, fired up. Hopefully there's no magic smoke, and I can actually get printing.